It happened so discreetly that almost no one noticed. A microscopic point in the planet's energy structure fractured, and from this invisible crack began to spread a vibration that alters everything we call real. That is why so many people are feeling an inner calling they cannot explain, a restlessness that seems to come from a place older than memory. Something is approaching, something that no longer waits for humanity to be ready. The rupture of the hidden field is the birth of a new perception, and those who have already been touched by it feel as if the air has changed density, as if time has slowed down and sped up at the same time, inviting the soul to awakenings that can no longer be postponed. Meanwhile, subtle forces move between the invisible layers of the earth, reorganizing codes that have lain dormant for ages. It's as if every human thought is being tested, weighed, and filtered by a field that has never before interfered so profoundly within us. Many people describe this sensation as a tightness in the chest, others as a light that suddenly turns on in the middle of the night, bringing back memories that don't belong to this life, awakening emotions that haven't been experienced in the present. All of this is part of the rupture, a fine-tuning of collective consciousness, an inevitable alignment between who we are and what we hide from ourselves. The rupture didn't begin outside, it began within. That's why so many are experiencing abrupt changes, relationships that break down without explanation, sudden decisions that seem guided by invisible forces, dreams that bring symbolic messages and warnings of a transition already underway. The soul feels before the body, and the body feels before the mind. In moments of silence, a sensitive person can perceive something like a pulse around the earth, a living field that now responds to the vibration of each individual. It's not punishment or judgment, it's revelation, and it is precisely this revelation that is frightening, because the rupture doesn't just show what is beautiful, it exposes what has always been hidden. Old fears emerge, traumas return like shadows seeking healing, and repetitive patterns begin to crumble like structures that can no longer support their own weight. Those who try to resist the process feel inexplicable exhaustion, as if something within them is fighting against the change. But those who accept it, even without understanding, realize that a greater force is reorganizing their lives, opening space for a new kind of consciousness. The rupture of the hidden field is the beginning of a vibrational filtering, not in the sense of separating people, but of separating internal states. Those who are prepared begin to rise in frequency effortlessly, while those who cling to what was hidden suffer the weight of what can no longer be sustained. The planet is reorganizing itself for a new cycle, and you are witnessing the moment when the surface of the invisible begins to break. And that, in itself, changes everything. The first signs always appear subtly, like small distortions in everyday perception. Moments when time seems to pause. The mind falls into absolute silence for a second, or a feeling of something is going to happen invades the chest without logical reason. This is an indication that the hidden field has touched your consciousness. The rupture doesn't present itself with loud bangs, but with internal resonances, impulses, pressures, intuitions that arise as if from a place prior to logic itself. These are signals sent directly to your emotional field, adjusting your vibration for the next phase of planetary change. Another common sign is increased emotional sensitivity. No matter how stable you've always been, suddenly you may begin to feel more deeply, as if every emotion has been amplified. This doesn't happen to weaken you, but to clear old layers, vibrational residues that cannot keep up with the new stage of the rupture. Sadness becomes purification. Anger becomes decompression. Anxiety becomes a warning. Each sensation has a specific purpose, to prepare you to recognize what you were never allowed to see. Dreams are another channel activated during the rupture. People everywhere are beginning to report vivid dreams, repetitive symbols, visits from figures that convey messages without words. These dreams are internal portals, created to reorganize your consciousness during sleep. In many of them, you are not just dreaming. You are receiving alignment codes, instructions that your waking mind doesn't yet know how to decode. And that's why so many wake up feeling exhausted or suddenly enlightened. The soul is working while the body rests. The perception of the environment also changes. You may begin to feel places that were previously neutral as energetically heavy, while simple and ordinary places seem more alive, almost as if they were breathing. This happens because the rupture exposed energetic fissures in the collective field, allowing more sensitive souls to perceive zones of density and zones of expansion. It's like walking on an earth that is changing from within, even if the surface appears the same. Many people describe this as a warning, and that's exactly what it is. The last sign, perhaps the strongest, is the inner calling. It's difficult to explain but easy to recognize. It's that deep feeling that you have a mission, even if you don't know what it is. It's feeling pulled towards something greater, as if a force is guiding you out of old versions of yourself. The calling isn't romantic, it's inexorable. It marks the soul's transition between the old cycle and the new field that is emerging. It's the silent announcement that the rupture of the hidden field is already happening within you. Since the rupture began, a silent division has been occurring in the depths of human consciousness, not as a judgment, but as a natural realignment of souls. It is as if two frequencies are gradually separating, creating two paths that were once intertwined. Some people feel an inexplicable inward pull, as if a forgotten memory is awakening. Others feel intense resistance, as if they are being pushed away from themselves. Lineages are not external groups, but internal states of vibrational readiness, and this determines how each soul reacts to the rupture of the hidden field. The souls of the awakened lineage begin to feel more synchronicities, premonitions, and a kind of clarity that springs forth amidst the chaos. These are people who, even without understanding the details, perceive that something greater is reconfiguring everything. They become more intuitive, more sensitive, more connected to planetary changes, as if they were human antennas picking up impulses coming from a reality in transition. Their thoughts become deeper, their dreams become more symbolic, and their emotions begin to align with a higher intelligence. Meanwhile, the souls of the dormant lineage are entering a phase of internal friction. This lineage feels the rupture as a threat because it exposes fears, beliefs, and patterns that were previously hidden. This is why so many are experiencing emotional collapse, living through intense conflicts, or feeling as if something is crumbling inside. It's not punishment. It's the clash between the old vibration and the new frequency that is trying to establish itself. Many resist because the inner truth demands profound changes, and not everyone is readily willing to shed everything they know. Between the two lineages, there is a third group, those who are awakening now. These souls experience simultaneous sensations of disorientation and clarity. They don't know exactly what is happening, but they feel they need to pay attention. They are people who begin to question everything, to feel sudden emotional pain, to realize that the world no longer fits together as before. It is the type of soul that begins to see signs in numbers, in the sky, in small coincidences of daily life, subtle signs that indicate that reality is opening up, even if it is not yet visible. The division of lineages doesn't separate people, but vibrations. Each soul is being reorganized according to its energetic maturity and its capacity to sustain the new consciousness that is emerging. This reorganization is inevitable and silent, and will be one of the most striking phenomena in the next phases of the rupture. Because when the frequencies finally consolidate, it will be impossible to return to the previous state. Each soul will follow the path that resonates with what it truly is, and not with what it believed itself to be. The rupture of the hidden field is not merely internal, it is beginning to manifest subtly in external reality, creating clashes between what existed hidden and what is now beginning to emerge. It is as if two layers of reality are colliding for the first time in a long time. People report feeling presences, perceiving movements in the corner of their eyes, hearing inner calls from which they don't know where. Perceptual fissures are beginning to open gaps through which the invisible leaks, and this disturbs those who still depend exclusively on physical vision to interpret the world. This friction between realities is also expressed in human behavior. Some individuals begin to act unpredictably, as if reacting to stimuli that others cannot perceive. Others experience lapses in time, moments when they switch off for a few seconds and then return with the feeling that something has been shown, even if they don't know exactly what. This is not a mental glitch. It is the internal system trying to synchronize two frequencies that are now competing for the same consciousness. The rupture expands the internal senses, and not everyone is prepared for this leap. Environments also reveal changes. Places that have always been neutral begin to emit strange sensations, dense vibrations, physical discomfort, unexplained chills. Natural locations, on the other hand, become more welcoming, almost magnetizing, as if emitting a higher energy pulse. This occurs because the hidden field, as it fragments, releases vibrational particles that directly influence human sensitivity. The Earth is speaking louder, and those who are attentive will realize that it is warning about the next stage of the transition. The friction between realities also causes disruptions in people's emotional patterns. Exaggerated reactions, impulses that seem to come from outside, intense feelings of déjà vu. All of this is part of the overlapping frequencies that is happening now. It's as if memories from other cycles, other lives, or other dimensions are trying to emerge through the cracks opened by the rupture. For some, this manifests as fear. For others, as a feeling of profound familiarity, as if they were returning home. And most importantly, this friction is only the beginning. Energy interferences will increase, perceptions will intensify, and signs from the invisible will become so evident that even the most skeptical will begin to question their view of reality. When the hidden field fragments, everything that was hidden seeks passage, and this is what marks the transition to the next stage of the rupture, the moment when the entire planet begins to feel that something bigger, inevitable, and transformative is approaching. There comes a point in every transition process when the change ceases to be subtle and becomes visceral. That moment has arrived. It is known as the first wave of purification, a phenomenon already affecting thousands of people around the world. This purification is not visible. It manifests as an internal pressure that forces the soul to release old memories, buried traumas, and emotional patterns that cannot be carried into the next phase of the breakthrough. This is why so many are crying for no reason, feeling profound exhaustion, or experiencing sudden crises. The soul is emptying what still binds it to the previous cycle. During this phase, old relationships begin to lose meaning, career paths become unbearable, and repetitive behaviors collapse. This happens because the old energy can no longer sustain an existence that is trying to align itself with a higher plane. The rupture requires vibrational lightness, and everything that doesn't resonate with that needs to be released. For many, this process feels like emotional chaos. For others, liberation. But in both cases, it's inevitable. Nothing that isn't authentic will survive this first wave. The purification also affects the physical body. Symptoms such as intense fatigue, unexplained pains, palpitations, and changes in sleep are common during this stage. The body is trying to recalibrate its frequency to keep up with the internal changes. Some people feel sudden heat, others feel cold, and many report a kind of vibration in the chest or head. These signs are not illnesses. They are energetic realignments. The internal structure is preparing to receive higher codes that will be activated in the next phase of the rupture. The mind also undergoes dramatic transformations. Old fears return like shadows seeking healing. Recurring thoughts arise as if something were being revisited for the last time, and important decisions begin to form internally, even if there is still no clarity. The first wave of purification doesn't ask permission. It invades the mental field to expel what was fragmented. It's a process similar to a storm that sweeps everything away to then allow the light to find space to enter. And this light will be necessary for what is to come. This stage marks the beginning of the separation between those who are ready to follow the ascensional phase of the rupture and those who are still trapped in the old density. There is no merit or error. There is only vibrational alignment. Those who manage to release, flow. Those who resist, suffer. And this contrast will become even more evident in the coming cycles. The first wave is only the beginning of a much greater cleansing. A cleansing that is not external. It is the purification of the soul to cross a portal that is already silently opening within each being. One of the most striking signs of the occult field's rupture is the growing feeling that time is different. It seems to speed up on certain days, slow down on others, and at specific moments, simply disappear. People report that hours pass like minutes, while minutes stretch out as if they were eternal. This temporal instability is not psychological, it is energetic. When the occult field fragments, the inner lines of perception begin to vibrate at distinct rhythms, creating variations that directly interfere with how we experience the flow of time. This temporal pressure also affects life decisions and paths. Suddenly, situations that previously took months to resolve begin to unravel or materialize in a matter of days. Life accelerates processes that were stagnant, as if there were an invisible force pushing each person toward the vibrational destiny that corresponds to their current frequency. Nothing remains still. Everything is pressured to follow its natural course, and this pressure generates discomfort for those who try to hold on to what should have already been released. Many begin to experience lapses in recent memory, as if parts of time are missing. Small blackouts, micro-perceptions of discontinuity, moments when the person realizes they weren't there, even though they were present. This happens because the mind is trying to adjust to the accelerated vibration that arises with the rupture. It's as if the body is living at one rate of time while consciousness is already migrating to another. These discrepancies are signs of transition and show that the change is intensifying. Time pressure also activates memories of past lives, ancestral memories, and fragments of experiences that never happened in this timeline. Many people have dreamed of places they don't know, experienced extreme déjà vu sensations, or had emotional memories without context. This occurs because the rupture is detaching the soul from the linear flow of time, allowing it to perceive other timelines, other experiences, other versions of itself. The soul was never linear, only the human mind was. This shift in temporal perception is merely preparation for something greater. The synchronicity between human consciousness and the new vibrational rhythm being established on the planet. When this synchronicity occurs, and it is near, humanity will enter a completely different cycle, where intuitions will be quicker, decisions clearer, and collective destiny will begin to reorganize itself at an accelerated pace. Time is changing because humanity is changing. And this is only the second stage of the rupture. The next ones will be even more intense. There is a moment in the rupture when reality ceases to be neutral and begins to react directly to the vibrational state of each soul. This moment is known as the second fissure, the point at which the hidden field opens enough for thoughts, intentions, and emotions to begin shaping immediate events. Many have already noticed this. Certain things manifest with abnormal speed, while others seem to dissolve effortlessly. The second fissure amplifies personal energy and returns to the individual exactly what they emit, and this is only the beginning. At this stage, small synchronicities transform into striking alignments. People you need to meet appear unexpectedly, paths open as if magnetized, messages arrive at the exact moment you think of them. The rupture allows reality to respond like a living organism, reflecting the vibration of each person who crosses this point. This is why many are reporting a feeling of constant accuracy, as if they were being guided by an invisible line that puts everything in the right place, at the right time. For those who are out of alignment, the effects are also evident. Repetitive situations return with force, conflicts resurface intensely, and poorly resolved decisions become inevitable. The second fissure doesn't soften anything, it amplifies. What was hidden grows. What was dormant awakens. What was pending is revealed. This causes many people to enter cycles of frustration and exhaustion because they are facing the vibrational truth of themselves, and this process can be uncomfortable for those who have tried to avoid change for too long. The perception of the environment also changes profoundly at this stage. Places with low vibrations become almost unbearable for sensitive souls, while higher environments evoke a feeling of expansion and peace that is difficult to describe. People begin to feel rejected by certain spaces and called to others. This occurs because the second fissure opens a direct connection between your vibration and the surrounding energy fields, creating a kind of spiritual magnetism. You are attracted to what strengthens you and repelled by what consumes you, with no middle ground. This stage is crucial because it defines who is ready to move on to the next phase of the rupture. Reality responds to the frequency you hold, not the one you wish for. and this response reveals the true vibrational level, not the imagined one. The second fissure is the mirror of the immediate future. It shows who you are becoming. And from here, every choice, every thought, and every intention begins to shape not only your life, but your vibrational line within the ongoing planetary transition. After passing through the second fissure, the soul enters an inner region known as the zone of resignification. This is a vibrational territory where old pains, beliefs, and memories undergo a kind of profound reorganization. It is not a conscious process, and therefore many people report feelings of confusion, unmotivated nostalgia, existential crises, and repetitions of old thoughts. The soul is reconstructing its own meaning, dismantling internal structures that have sustained the personality throughout a lifetime. It's as if you are being invited to remember who you really are, before everything you learned, before everything you suffered. In this zone, sensitivity increases even further. You begin to perceive people's intentions with frightening clarity, as if you could see behind their words. You can quickly identify who is lying, who is vibrating at a low frequency, who is approaching you out of self-interest, and who is connected to your frequency. This is not judgment, it is unobstructed spiritual perception. The rupture removes old filters and allows the soul to directly feel the vibrational truth in everything, in people, in environments, in conversations, in silences. It's also common at this stage to feel the urge to withdraw from the social world, as if the outside world were too noisy. The soul asks for silence to reorganize its deep structures. It's not emotional isolation, it's internal restructuring. Many people report needing to seek nature, soft music, moments of introspection, or simply staying home in silence. It's the natural process of a consciousness preparing to receive higher codes, which can only be activated when the inner field is clean and receptive. The zone of resignification also brings unexpected revelations. Ideas you never had begin to emerge. Intuitions about the future become more frequent. Sensations of déjà vu intensify to an almost supernatural level. It's as if time is showing fragments of what is to come, not to frighten, but to prepare your soul for the next stage of the rupture. It is a period of silent strengthening, where consciousness expands and perception begins to align with realities that were previously inaccessible. This is one of the most sensitive and powerful stages of the hidden field rupture. The zone of resignification doesn't just transform thoughts, it redefines the vibrational foundation of the soul. Everything that was misaligned begins to dissolve. Everything that was hidden begins to be revealed. And everything that was fragmented begins to be rebuilt. It's the stage where you stop being who you were and become who you need to be. From here, the process intensifies, and the transition enters its deepest phase. There is a point in the rupture of the hidden field where human perception begins to expand irreversibly. It is not an abrupt awakening, but a gentle sliding, as if inner curtains were being drawn back one by one. People report beginning to see patterns where before they saw only chaos, feeling presences where before they perceived only emptiness, understanding hidden messages in seemingly ordinary situations. The soul begins to see, not with the eyes, but with consciousness. It is then that the world reveals that it has always been vaster, more alive, and more symbolic than it seemed. This expansion of perception causes many to begin to feel energies more clearly, be it a shiver that arises out of nowhere, a gentle pressure in the chest, or a feeling that something is calling for attention. The body becomes a radar, the mind becomes a translator, and the heart becomes the center of vibrational interpretation. It doesn't matter if you understand or not, you feel. And feeling is the first language of the new reality that is forming from the rupture. It is the language that doesn't need logic to be real. Expansion also alters how you interpret the presence of other people. Instead of seeing faces, you begin to perceive vibrations. Instead of reacting to words, you sense intentions. Instead of just listening, you receive information through inner layers of perception. This is why so many report discomfort with negative people, even when they don't explicitly say anything. Disruption removes the filter that hid inner states. Now, soul reads soul, and that changes everything. Another phenomenon of this phase is the intensification of external signs. Repeated numbers appear more frequently, animals appear symbolically, seemingly casual conversations carry profound messages, and even the weather seems to respond to your emotional state. The universe becomes a living mirror, returning clues, warnings, and confirmations to your consciousness. It's not coincidence, it's amplified synchronicity. The rupture makes the world responsive, almost interactive, as if reality were constantly trying to tell you something. And then comes the most profound effect of this phase, the understanding that you are not alone, not in a physical sense, but in a vibrational one. You realize that there are consciousnesses, energies, and presences that have always walked beside you, but that only now have been able to approach due to the opening of the hidden field. Some people interpret this as spirituality, others as sensitivity, but in truth, it is simply the soul regaining its sight with the eyes it lost at birth. This perceptual expansion marks the beginning of a new type of human perception, and this leads us directly to the next stage. The rupture of the hidden field didn't just transform perception, it completely altered the emotional system. Emotions cease to be random impulses and become spiritual compasses. Joy, for example, begins to indicate vibrational alignment. Sadness, profound release. Anxiety, internal resistance. Fear, the soul's attempt to warn about something that can no longer be ignored. Each sensation carries a purpose. Nothing is wasted. That's why you're feeling everything more intensely. The soul is teaching you a new emotional language. Emotional reconfiguration also causes old wounds to resurface with greater force. What was once a mild discomfort can now feel like an internal earthquake. This happens because the rupture no longer allows old patterns to remain hidden. Unexposed emotion becomes a vibrational blockage, and the hidden field, in the process of dissolving, forces the soul to confront everything that needs to be released. It is a painful process for many, but absolutely necessary. Emotional cleansing is the key to entering the uplifting phase that is to come. At this stage, many experience abrupt mood swings, moments of profound serenity followed by waves of sensitivity, introspection, or restlessness. It's not instability, it's recalibration. It's as if your soul is rearranging internal wires, disconnecting you from what was false and reconnecting you to what is true. Emotional reconfiguration requires courage, but it also brings clarity. Little by little, you realize that old emotions no longer control you in the same way. You begin to observe yourself with a lucidity that never existed before. Human relationships also change drastically. People who no longer vibrate at the same frequency naturally drift apart, without conflict, simply due to differences in their internal states. Meanwhile, new bonds begin to emerge, often unexpectedly. Brief encounters, instant connections, feelings of recognition with complete strangers. The rupture realigns relationships based on vibrational purpose, not habit. The soul recognizes who is part of its process and who is no longer. And then, the final sign of this phase emerges, a sense of purpose. Not necessarily a defined purpose, but an inner impulse that pushes you forward, as if the soul were finally taking command. This feeling is the prelude to the next stage of the breakthrough, the moment when the soul begins to align with the vibrational line that will determine its spiritual future. After the emotional reconfiguration, nothing remains the same. You begin to feel differently, perceive differently, and exist differently. And this prepares you for the climax of the transition. There comes a point in the rupture of the hidden field where neutrality no longer exists. The soul must choose a vibrational direction. This moment is known as the inflection point. It is not visible. It is not marked by grand external signs. It is a subtle, internal, silent turning point where the soul's frequency fixes itself in one of the two great energy flows that emerged with the planetary transition. Some people feel this choice as a relief, others as pressure, and still others as a watershed moment that completely changes how they see life. But regardless of the form, the inflection point is inevitable. At this stage, you begin to realize that certain situations simply cease to be possible. Doors close permanently, paths collapse, people leave, habits crumble like dust in your hands. It's not bad luck nor coincidence, it's vibrational alignment. The soul can no longer sustain what belongs to the old frequency, and so the universe begins to reorganize everything around it so that the flow becomes coherent with the new energetic choice. It's a process that may seem brutal, but is actually profoundly compassionate. Life removes what would impede your future evolution. At the same time, new possibilities begin to emerge with surprising speed. Ideas that were once just distant dreams begin to materialize. Creativity flourishes. Intuitions become direct and precise. People with similar vibrations begin to cross your path as if pulled by an invisible magnetism. The soul, by focusing on a vibrational line, begins to attract everything that resonates with this new frequency. It's as if the universe were reconstructing your reality from your inner frequency, and no longer from your external circumstances. This profound change generates a paradoxical feeling of simultaneous loss and gain. You lose parts of yourself that you believe to be essential, but gain a clarity that previously seemed impossible. You abandon paths that seemed safe, but discover trails that carry an almost prophetic intensity. You distance yourself from people who no longer resonate with who you are becoming, but attract souls who seem to have waited for you for lifetimes. The inflection point is the moment when life stops pushing you and starts calling you. And then comes the final effect of this phase: inner certainty. It doesn't matter if you already know the details of the path. You feel with unquestionable depth that you are where you need to be. Doubt diminishes, fear loses its power, and the soul finally positions itself as the protagonist of its own existence. This is the milestone that defines everything that comes next. After the turning point, returning to the old state becomes impossible. You have crossed an invisible threshold, and now you move on to the most intense phase of the rupture. As the transition progresses, the hidden field reaches a critical state, the threshold. This is the moment when internal transformations begin to strongly reflect in the external world. It's as if two realities, the vibrational and the physical, are rapidly converging, about to meet at an inevitable point of impact. This convergence causes perceptual distortions, energetic accelerations, and an intense feeling that something big is about to happen. The soul feels before the eyes see, and that is why so many report an inexplicable urgency that grows day by day. During this phase, synchronistic events become so striking that they seem like scripts written by a higher intelligence. Situations unfold with such precision that they leave the feeling that something is acting behind the scenes of reality. This happens because the rupture has begun to alter the manifestational field, reducing the delay between intention and materialization. It's as if the world is losing density, allowing internal vibrations to increasingly influence the flow of events. The threshold brings reality closer to the vibrational state of the soul, and not the other way around. The approach of the threshold also intensifies emotional and existential conflicts. Many people begin to feel that they are living two lives at the same time: an external one based on daily life, and an internal one based on signs, intuitions, and premonitions. It's as if two versions of reality are vying for the attention of consciousness. This sensation is neither an error nor a mental imbalance. It is the impact of the two layers converging. The soul is adjusting to the fact that physical reality will no longer be as rigid as before, and this causes a profound reorganization in the internal system. This stage also reveals the true nature of human relationships. Weak ties break suddenly, while strong ties become even more intense and meaningful. It's as if the threshold automatically filters out everything that doesn't resonate with the essence of the soul. Patterns of emotional dependence break down, superficial connections dissolve, and purposeful relationships emerge like beacons in the darkness. Approaching the threshold brings not only clarity, it brings direction. It shows who is ready to walk alongside you and who cannot cross over to the next stage. And then comes the final sign of this phase, the feeling of imminent crossing. A silent, profound, almost ancestral calling, telling you that you are approaching something that will change your perception forever. The threshold is not the end. It is the portal to the most transformative cycle of rupture. When the two realities finally meet, the hidden field will cease to be fragmented, and from there, the soul will cross over to a vibrational level where nothing remains hidden and nothing remains the same. There is a moment in the rupture of the hidden field when the entire process ceases to be internal and manifests irresistibly on the surface of consciousness. This moment is the final impact, the moment when everything that was silently rearranging itself within you finally becomes visible, audible, and impossible to ignore. It is as if an ancient and patient force has pulled away the last layers of illusion, revealing the true landscape of your soul. Many describe this moment as an emotional collapse, others as a sudden revelation, still others as an awakening so profound that it is disconcerting. But regardless of the form, the final impact comes to all. At this stage, you realize that nothing you've experienced in the last few months, or even years, was random. Every pain, every crisis, every breakup, every silence, every person who entered or left your life was part of a larger alignment, guided by an intelligence that operated beyond human logic. The rupture didn't want to destroy you, it wanted to liberate you. And it is at this moment that consciousness finally realizes that suffering was not punishment, but preparation. Each fragment of yourself that was dismantled was making room for something much greater, your true vibrational version. The final impact brings an almost painful clarity. You begin to see patterns that previously seemed disconnected, perceive truths that were hidden behind distractions, and feel emotions that were previously stifled by routine. The soul stops whispering and begins to speak firmly, directing, correcting, cleansing, guiding. From here on, there is no going back to the old consciousness. You become someone who can see beyond appearances, understand beyond words, and feel beyond superficial emotions. It is the birth of your new vibrational axis. This phase also reveals the purpose of the rupture. The hidden field, in fragmenting, exposed not only what was outside, it exposed what was inside. Inner layers that you have avoided for years, perhaps since childhood, begin to emerge forcefully, demanding healing, acceptance, and liberation. Many people experience revelations at this time about their own history, about past lives, about spiritual bonds, about fears that make no sense in this existence, about missions that were dormant. The final impact is the bridge between what you were and what you came to be. And when that bridge is completed, when the inner collapse transforms into clarity, the first sign of the final stage of the transition emerges, the feeling of presence, not physical, but vibrational, as if you were being observed, not with judgment, but with recognition, as if something ancient, silent, and compassionate were accompanying every step of your awakening. This is the call of the crossing, and it indicates only one thing. You are ready for the final stage of the rupture of the hidden field. The final stage of the hidden field rupture is neither violent nor chaotic. It is profound, slow, inevitable, like the dawn after a night that is far too long. This stage is known as the crossing, the moment when the soul definitively crosses the vibrational boundary that separates its old self from the new consciousness that is emerging. The crossing is not an external event. It is an internal change so powerful that it transforms how you think, feel, react, perceive, and relate to the world. It is the instant when you begin to exist in a different way, even while living in the same place, with the same people, in the same body. During the crossing, you feel a kind of inner silence, a strange, almost sacred silence, as if all the answers you've always sought were melancholically asleep within you. The mind doesn't speak so loudly. Anxiety loses its power. Fear dissolves, and a kind of gentle lucidity begins to spread through your inner field. It is the soul taking command of the journey, guiding you towards an existence that aligns with the purpose that has always awaited you. The crossing is the moment when you stop surviving and begin to awaken. This stage also brings the beginning of a new magnetism. You start attracting opportunities, people, messages, paths, and signs that confirm what is happening. It's as if everything falls into place more fluidly, as if the universe is directly collaborating with your evolution. This is not luck, it's resonance. When the soul crosses over to the new frequency, life responds, and it responds quickly. The world vibrates in the same direction as you vibrate, and the feeling of being lost almost completely disappears, replaced by a feeling of alignment that grows day by day. The crossing is also a moment of farewell. Not farewell to people, but to old versions of yourself. Old fears, old beliefs, old identities fall away like shells that no longer serve you. You begin to recognize that everything you've lived through was necessary to bring you here, and that, from this point on, your journey will be guided by a broader, more sensitive, more connected vision. It is the vibrational death of what no longer belongs to your path, and the luminous birth of what can finally exist. And when the crossing is complete, something very profound happens. The soul feels it has arrived at a new cycle. A cycle where the invisible does not frighten, but guides. Where the future does not terrify, but calls. Where life does not weigh, but flows. Where consciousness does not fragment, but expands. The rupture of the hidden field was only the beginning. The beginning of who you came to be. The beginning of what the planet is becoming. The beginning of what is about to emerge in all of humanity. If you felt this vibrate within you, write in the comments, "I feel the vibration."